Well, his coach was Mr. Jim Flick after his original coach died. And so I was very fortunate to spend many years with Jim Flick, traveling with Jim, teaching with Jim. And then also I worked with Hank Haney, who's worked with Tiger Woods for 7 years. So I've had a lot of experience. I've done a lot of these clinics. I have so much fun doing them. Traveling throughout the country, we used to do groups of about 15 to 25 people. And people would come from all over, so we did like I said, all over the country. But we did a survey why people go to golf schools. You notice you don't see golf schools anymore, do you? You don't really see a lot of advertising. 3-day golf schools, because it's a lot. I mean, we figured 3 days of beating golf balls and playing golf and listening to the mental part and the physical part and the nutrition part. We found that 3-day schools is just too much. But the main reason why people went to the schools, it was a survey. The first was vacation. The second was enjoying the evening, just relaxing, drinks and dinner and things like that. The third was shopping. The last one on the list was golf. So we figured out, okay, well, if that's the case, what do we do for the first 4 days? So anyway, so I've had a lot of fun doing it. So Andrew reached out to me a few weeks ago, and I gave Andrew lessons. How long ago was it?
It's been about, I don't know, about 8 to 10 years ago. 8 to 10 years, okay. So he reached out to me a few weeks ago and says, hey, would you be interested in coming to the gym here and doing a clinic? And I said, yeah, these are a lot of fun to do. So I guess what he wanted to say, you want us to work on speed and all those kind of things? Is that kind of where you want to go with this? Or Speed.
I've got notes down there that I've done. I'm not going to look at it. Every time I look at them, I didn't look at them. I just go. But so today what I want to talk about a little bit is that maybe you could talk about this. How many people are members here? Okay, so it's good. So you all know these guys. So I don't need to talk about you guys, right?
No.
Okay. So anyway, so what I want to talk about first is some of the things that we see in instruction and what Andrew sees in a gym. Like, you can ask Andrew, any of the trainers here, that if people just go to a gym and work out, he can almost guarantee you if you just walked into a gym and watched someone work out, I guarantee you 95% of the time they're working at it correctly. They're going to hurt themselves more than anything. Well, that's a lot what my field is. I spend hours a day on the driving range, and I'm just watching people. And when I'm teaching, I'm kind of looking this way because everybody's sitting, and I'm just looking down the line and just going, and just shaking my head, just thinking. And this is like, and this is, I mean, they're hitting buckets and buckets and buckets of balls, and I'm just kind of shaking my head.
He's watching us going, oh yeah.
Yeah. And I walk up to him, and then sometimes I'll just kind of walk up and say, well, what are you working on? Well, ball's going to the right. Well, okay, so what are you trying to do to make it go to the left? Well, I don't know. Here's my card. Come see me, right? So, golf is a very difficult game. It's 3-dimensional, if you really think about how the club swings. Well, the club swings this way. It swings more on I want to hit that machine. But it swings more on a vertical plane like this. That's one dimension. The other two would be your body works in a rotary and a lateral position. So during the swing, all three of these things have to match up to hit the ball straight. This is why golf is so difficult. Okay. Where is golf today? It's one of the biggest growing sports in the world because of the pandemic. Golf is on a slight decline just before the pandemic. Pandemic hits, unfortunately, I mean, for my business, it just skyrocketed because it was one of the first things that we could do once we started opening things up. So golf became huge. I became busy, a lot busier than I am now, or I was, should I say. So it's been great for the business, but obviously horrible for the world. But as far as the industry goes, it's been wonderful. So what I want to do today is answer some questions, but I want to go through just a couple things first, just to kind of clarify what makes the ball go where it goes and how far it wants to go. Does that make sense? Okay, first of all, how many have been told here, those who have had instruction, or from friends, which is the worst thing you want, don't listen to your friends. Please, don't listen to your friends. Okay? Okay? It's just, it ruins more people. The second thing would be what? What's the biggest thing that's going on with golf today? Ever heard of YouTube? Okay, the more YouTube people watch, the busier I get. Okay, YouTube is a disaster for golf. Not saying these instructors on YouTube are bad instructors. It's how people interpret what they're saying. So you're not going to see me on YouTube very much. A good friend of mine, Mike Alaska, who I used to teach with them in Arizona, traveled with a little bit. He's probably the best guy out there for as YouTube goes. But still, it's like, it can be very confusing. It's like YouTube's great for stuff around the house. Okay? But for us in the golf club, it's just that instructor cannot see what you're doing. Okay, there's different ways of hitting a golf ball. If you watch the tour, the women's tour, the men's tour, the senior tour, whatever tour it is, all their swings are different, but the ball does the same thing, doesn't it? So there's more than one way of swinging a golf club. So the first thing I want to talk about is the grip, if you don't mind. If you have questions, please raise your hands. So the most common mistake that we see as far as creating more speed in your golf swing is that there's 3 levers in the swing. One, there's your wrists. This is lever 1, right? Lever 2 would be your arms. God, I'm afraid I need this thing. This is an expensive toy. I want to do it for that. Okay. So second would be your arms. Okay, and the third would be your lower body. Now a lot of people are out there thinking they want to create more speed. So where's speed coming from? Can anybody answer that question?
Lower body.
That's the furthest thing from the truth there is.
Arms.
Yeah. So that's what people are just, they're brainwashed. If you use your legs and your hips, you hit the ball further. No, you won't. Let me give you an example. Oh gosh, I forgot something in my car.
I can go.
Can you go in the back? In my bag, there's an alignment stick.
Okay.
Do you have one in here? You don't have one in stick.
We have sticks, but it won't be.
Can you grab one of those real quick?
Is it open?
Yeah, just pop it should be able, just pop the back. You'll see it's an orange stick. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, forget that. So let's talk about the grip first. Okay, so the most common mistake that we see in the grip, this is a speed boost. Okay, so if I stand here and hit a golf ball with just using my wrist alone. Okay, if I just do this, okay, just this. Okay, if I just try to hit a ball just with my wrist, okay, right? It's pretty good speed, wouldn't you say? That's just my wrist. So let's talk about how the wrists work, okay? That's a lot of speed. I'm not even using my arms, I'm using my body. This is the best teaching tool there is, this guy right here. So let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about speed. So a lot of people are under the impression that using your body is going to create a lot of speed. So if I attach this to my hip, how fast can this go? Or if I attach it to my shoulders, how fast can it go? Is that going very fast? What if I did this? What's going faster? Okay, what's going faster? So I think it's pretty simple, right? So that's going a lot faster than me connecting this to my hips and doing that, correct? Would everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Not saying the legs aren't part of this, don't get me wrong. That's one of the levers of the system. The 2 most important ones for direction and speed are pretty much from your hands, your arms, and your shoulder sockets. So those need to be relaxed in order to produce any kind of speed. Okay? So when someone comes to me, they say, you know what? My friend says I got to keep my left arm straight. Okay? Then my friend says I have to keep my head down. Okay? Then I'm going to grab this club like a baseball bat. Okay? Now, where am I going from here? Not very far. Then I got to turn my shoulders. Okay, work. Okay. I'm going to turn my shoulders, and then this is what I see every day, by the way. Okay. Okay. This is what I see all the time. They're using their body to great speed. When I can say, well, why don't we just do this? And what's going faster? So that's pretty much what happens. So we have to first realize, how do you use your hands in the swing? How do you use your arms in the swing? Then how do we use the body? I'm not going to go on for 4 hours and talk about this because I could, but let's talk about the first thing, the wrist again. So if we take our grip, the most commonly, does anybody have to wear a glove when they play? Where do you wear it out at, you know?
Where do I wear it?
Do you wear it out in here? There's a lot of wear?
Yeah.
Is there usually a hole there?
Yeah.
Until you get a new one, right? Okay. Okay, so this is why this is a huge advantage for you. Okay. Okay, so when we put the club in our hands, the common mistake we see is we put the grip right here. Everybody shows up with the range looking like this. Okay, now when the club is up in my palms like that, or that's a common one right there, where the butt of the club is now right here. Well, your hand's not able to hinge properly if it's in that position, right? And then the right hand, you know, I see a lot of different right handers, but the left hand's the main thing. Do you slice the ball? Who slices the ball? Anybody slice the ball? You guys hit it straight? Well, you can give me a lesson. This is good. Okay, all right. Oh, you're my. This is fun. I've done it before. Okay, this is actually pretty good. So hang on to it. All right, I'm going to just go ahead and see where that club is.
Yeah.
You're losing speed. Yeah. Okay, see where that club's sitting? I see this all day long. Okay. Now the second thing, hang on to that with your left hand. I'm going to pull the club so you can lean back just a little bit. Right. What happened is the club face kind of did this. It rolled over. That's just the way his bones are lined up. So he's got the grip's not right. Did he hit the ball right at all? A little bit. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put that club a little bit more in here. Okay. Actually, just do me a favor. Just face the crowd here and just lay your arms hang. Bend over. See his arms are hanging? He doesn't walk around looking like this, right? So if I put this club in his hands, this is the way his joints work. If I put the club in his hands just like that, okay? Okay. Does that feel different? Yeah. And I pull that club out towards you. Face stays square. If I did this with your left hand, pull the club out towards you. See what the face did? Yeah. Conversely, if we go this way, see what the face does. So what people don't realize, there's a lot of force going on in the swing. So if your grip is in the wrong position, based on the way your joints are lined, everybody's different here. So there's no one grip, okay? But if your grip is in the wrong position because your joints are lined up, I don't care what you do to try to square the face up, you're gonna have to try to manipulate this thing pretty fast. So by doing this little exercise, I don't know if anybody's ever watched Adam Scott. He'll stand on the tee like this, just like that. Club right across. This is the way his left hand sits, and then he'll go like that. Because he knows that when that club starts extending, this is what happens during the swing. The arms start to extend down. As they extend, the face is going to stay square. If his grip was poor, this is the common mistake. The arms extend. See what the face did? Open wide out. So it's all based on how your joints are like that. So one would be is get the club out of the palms, get it more. If you're going to make any mistake at all with your grip, put it more in your fingers. Get it out of the palms, and then to save money on your glove, make sure the end of this club is not in here, because this is where the holes will get torn in your glove. When I worked at Los Altos Country Club many years ago, I remember I'd go out buy a brand new glove, 9 holes, you come in, that big hole here. You walk in and says, Don, I got a defective glove. I said, let me see the grip. And I take the grip, and sure enough, there's a big hole right there, right? So of course the customer's always right, you have to give them the glove, and then that show them the grip. So that would be one. So once your hands are placed on the club, and then the right hand would be simply right on the finger joints, but you should be able to do this. If you're not able to do this with the club, you're losing speed. And you're going to lose
And
your
doing that is keeping the club head square.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So if you're not able to, if you can't do this, the club face won't square, because again, with all the 3D animation, as those arms start to extend to impact, that club is pulling away from your body. But if that grip is wrong and you do that, it's going to go right, it goes over this. So that's why you see players on TV before they hit a shot, they do this. They're just trying to feel the weight of the club. They put it in their hands, and you see them do this. Now, Mr. Flick used to say, your fingers will be secured, but your wrists and your forearms need to be relaxed. So we don't want to be doing this. Okay. So that's
you can cover how hard you hold
as tight as you can.
it.
I talked to Hendricks Stenson. Yeah, she's a new running back coach coming up, and I did a clinic a few days before, and we were talking about grip pressure. And I asked Hendrick, I says, how tight do you hold on to? He says, I hold it as tight as I can. Well, you just killed the whole clinic that I did, right? It's just fingers just enough to hold on. You know, you want to hold on, but you don't want to death grip it. Now, the common mistake is if the club moves at impact, it's not because your grip is too loose, it's because you mishit it. Until I see that club helicopter out of your hands, then it's too loose. But you don't want it sloppy, so it's a great question. So people say, like, you're holding a moving bird, but just enough to hold on to it, but you don't want it death gripping. Now, the second part would be so this would be the first lever, just being able to do that for two reasons. One, the hands need to hinge, okay? The hands need to unhinge. And then they need to rehinge over here. So if we can't do this, you're going to struggle playing golf. You see this all day, right? So if we can't do this here, okay, you're going to have trouble hitting the ball farther, and more importantly, hit it straighter. So then the second element, a second lever would be your shoulder sockets. Your shoulder sockets need to be relaxed, and that's why.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
So will you have your students actually just hit balls with the wrist only, just to,
just
to get to that?
Not just this. No, what I'll do is I'll have them be able to do this. But then what I'm talking about now, this is what I do with 85% of my students.
Yeah.
Even I've taught anywhere between beginner golfers to tour players. Okay.
Yeah.
I've taught a lot of disabled people too, which has taught me a lot about teaching. People who've had strokes and things like that, or accidents and things like that. They're paralyzed. But I'll get into that in a second. So the second part would be the shoulders. If your shoulders are tight, and this is why when people are told to keep their left arm straight, well, what's going to happen? This whole joint, what's this joint called? Come on. It's a shoulder joint, right? That's what it is. There's no fancy name for that.
There's a fancy name, but everyone knows it as your shoulder joint.
It's a shoulder joint. Okay, well, I'm trying to You're the expert in that field. so anyway, so your shoulders need to be very relaxed. They have to be. They cannot be tight. So when I see people, okay, good luck. You're not going to have any fun doing this. So your shoulder sockets need to be relaxed. So to answer your question, this is the number one drill I tell my students for two reasons: for speed and direction. Because I'll have my students, I call it my 90-90 drill. Basically, what it is that the club swings up, the hands are going to hinge. Okay. Now, I don't consciously do that. The weight of the club does that. Okay. Then from there, the weight of the club then will drop down, it'll hit the golf ball, and then they'll rehinge over here. Let me show it to you. That's too far away, huh? So I'll have them put their feet fairly close together like this, and I'll just have them do this. If they can't do that, they're going to struggle playing golf. Did everybody see that? You all see that?
What were we looking at?
Just look at my arm. It's kind of basically all I'm trying to do is this. There's no weight shift here. I'm just trying to let the club swing up. It's going to hinge. Okay. Okay. So that's a key lever for distance. I have a question. I thought you were going to say. So any questions there so far? I'm sorry this is kind of new, but you're learning a lot. Okay. Any questions so far? So those are the two. I would think those are number one and number two levers to create speed and direction. Now, when we talk about the body, I think we have to be really careful with this because people just either they don't turn enough or they most likely they over-rotate their body. So where distance comes from the legs, and we call these the kings, right? We call that in your industry, the quads.
Quads.
Kind of the kings of the swing. So what that means is if you look at these players like Lydia Ko's this tall. She weighs probably 110 pounds of wet. She hits at 280. She's tall, long legs. She's not built. She's not a body. She's not Lexi. Lexi's like 6'2". She's big, but she's a long ways. But she's just a little thing. But she could just kill it, right? So I'm thinking, she's not all buffed out, but she's strong, but she's not all buffed out, built. But that player, she's still young. She's still winning a lot. But my point is that she generates a lot of speed with those two first levers that we just talked about, but then she uses the third lever, which is the legs. So what that means is that when these players swing the club back, they create what we call pressure over here. Okay? So pressure is that I never use the word weight shift. When I use the word weight shift, people do this. Right? So I always use pressure. So when the club swings back, your body turns a little bit, and there's pressure built up about right here. Okay. So as I start my forward swing, it starts much earlier than you think. So as this club is getting about right here, then the pressure changes from here and moves to here. Right? Then from here, I'll demonstrate that in a minute. Then from here, this left hip joint is now going to get out of the way. And this is where the speed applies. Boom. It's like when a baseball player hits a baseball. Here comes the ball. Their arms are going back. What's the foot doing? It's going towards the pitcher. All of a sudden, he hits the brakes with his lower body, and what goes? Bam. That's why this guy's hit it so far. That's why this player's on tour like Lydia Ko hits it so far. Don't look at Bryson DeChambeau. Don't look at Bubba Watson. Okay, Bryson's already hurt. Okay, he's got a broken wrist and a broken hip. So it's not broken. It's from golf. Absolutely, swing that hard. So you ask these guys. You watch a guy like that, something's got to break. The body's just not designed to go that hard. They should have learned from Tiger 12 surgeries later. You know, Tiger was the first guy to kind of put that on the map, and all of a sudden he's got 12 surgeries, and everybody's trying to do what Tiger's doing now. The players in the old days, like the Hogans and the Nelsons and the Sneaks, they never got hurt. They drank beer after, they didn't work. But I'm just saying that they were, you know, they were just so, you know, these guys were working out so hard and so much, and that a lot of times, if you ask these guys, they hurt themselves, right? Yeah. So anyway, so bottom line is that if I'm going to throw a ball, okay, there has to be change of direction. So if I throw a ball, I'm going to try to hit that. But if I throw this ball, what am I going to do? As soon as I'm left-handed. So if I step with my right foot like this, what's going back? Where's my arm going? Arm's going towards you. All of a sudden I turn and I throw. Golf's no different. It's sequencing. You've been doing it your whole lives. If you played any kind of sports, when you walk, you have to be in the right sequence when you walk. Does anybody know here, and I'm going to ask these two guys right here, what's the first thing that moves when you walk? Does anybody know? What's the first, if I'm going to step towards it, what's the first thing that's moving? You guys know?
Your head.
Huh? There's a tilt.
Yeah.
Then what? Knee. Your knee's pretty much going to, would you agree with that? If you tilt forward, your knee's going to go this, you're not going to walk like this, are you? So you have to be in sequence to walk correctly, would you agree? You've been doing this since you were born. So my point is that in any sport related, like if I'm going to hit a tennis ball, here comes a tennis ball. As the racket goes back, where's my foot going? It's going towards the net. I'm not going to go like this unless I'm too late, and then I'm going to step. So sequence is the key to creating more speed as well. So what happens is that as that club swings up to the top, and it happens more, we don't really call it the top, but club swings up, as it's getting here, pressure's moving from here to here. There's the pressure change, and then this hip is just going to go and fire. And it's very subtle. It's subtle. It's not this violent thing, but everybody thinks I've got to get the club to the top of the swing, stop, and then go. So it happens in one motion. So if I were to get my arms, and everybody, you guys want to try this? You guys, stand up. Try this. It's kind of a fun exercise. Then we're going to get into the do's and don'ts. Okay? So just with your arms. Just let your arms hang freely. You're going to be good because you have the balance. Okay, so I want you to just swing your arms back, and as they start to swing back, you're going to feel, is everybody right-handed? Yeah. Okay, good. So you're going to feel a little pressure move into your right heel. Everybody feel that? Just kind of naturally move, doesn't it? Just as your arms, right? Now from here, just as your arms are getting here, see if you can feel a little bit of pressure moving towards your left leg. So just move. So you're going to go up, move pressure, and then let your arms go. This guy's got to go first. Okay? This guy's got, so when you get to here, you're going to feel pressure move here, and then you're going to turn and let your
So
arms
when you
go.
say that this goes first before your hands come forward?
Absolutely. Like when you throw a ball,
Yeah.
excuse me, you step, you turn, you throw. Did you agree?
Yeah.
It's the same motion. So it's very, and this movement's very subtle. So we're here, there's a little pressure, and then you turn and go. That's where a lot of speed is. So by using that, and using these two things, you can create a lot of speed.
I don't think I got that timing down.
No. So this is the thing, is that when we're,
Forward first and then my knee goes.
that's the big mistake that people, the best players in the world make it, you guys can say that. But that's the biggest mistake that people make, and we're talking the best players in the world, we're not robots. So what really happens is, when I do this with my students, I'll have a student, you want to try this, Andrew? Okay. You better look good since I gave you less than 10 years ago. You're not going to hit a ball. But just go ahead and just make a couple swings. Don't hit that ground. Okay. All right. So when I say go, what he's going to do is, as that club goes back, I'm going to say go, and he's going to try to change pressure from here to here. So you see, it's good swinging. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go ahead and set up. And when I say go, you change pressure. Go. It's so late. Okay. Go. That. Go all the way through. Oh. Go. That means you're already changing, going in this direction. Where did you feel like the club was when you did that?
Club's a little flat.
No, going back. So, so if I break this down into 4 stages, this would be stage 1. Take your breath. This is stage 1. Okay, stage 2 is here. We're not doing this actually in the swing, we're just showing you stage 3 is here, and stage 4 is there. Okay. So, at what stage do you think you have to start changing pressure going in this direction?
Say 3.
Okay, you're too late. Go ahead. All right. So it's actually about 2.
2?
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead and try it. When I say go, change direction. Go. Wait, that's so late. Go.
It's so unnatural.
Really, it seems so contradictory.
You want to hit the ball first?
Yeah.
Okay. But what you don't realize, if I put you on the video, your arms are about right here when I say go. You know, momentum is still going in this direction as you're actually changing pressure. So, okay. He said, good job, coach. Good swing. Who taught you that?
You can pass the women's TV.
Absolutely. Now, again, what really happens is, again, like I said, if I take this club back, like if I throw a ball, my foot is going towards that net, and my arm is going where? It's going that way. So in golf, what happens is that club is starting to go back. Now, I'll give you most of you guys the 3. So realistically, this club is still moving in this direction. If I type it, let me back this up a second. If I get to about right here, my weight is already where it needs to be. When my left arm is about parallel with the ground, all the weight I need to put in my back foot is already there. But people try to do what?
Yes.
Okay, well we're going to talk about that in the physical part. Okay, but my point is that what you want to do is that club is getting about right here. That pressure that you're trying to create into this is already there. So then as that club is still going back as we start to change pressure. And then from there, that hip turns and it goes. So if you watch this in slow motion, I used to watch Nick Faldo for hours do this. Okay, you get up there just like this and hit golf balls above the speed. You would do it that slow. Okay, but you need to go a little faster. But if I have pressure plates where your feet are, this thing called body track is a really cool thing I use. That you'll start to see that pressure change moving from here to here, and it happens so much earlier than you think. So that's why we always say there's really no top of the back. So am I confusing anybody here? Does this all make sense? Kind of. It's different, isn't it?
When I hit a ball.
It's
actually
well.
goes up.
So if I hit this ball at a very slow speed, okay. All right, I'll do this as slow as I can, but as I swing the club back, and see, as I'm getting about right here, I'm already starting to change pressure. So that club is about, when I'm here, that weight is already where it needs to be. So as I swing back, right? I swing back and change. That was real good. Okay, so if I'm doing it real slow back. Okay, so that wasn't a violent move, was it? But I create a lot of speed doing that. Just by simply, now that doesn't mean you shorten your swing up. That means that you have to start to realize, okay, when I'm here, I got to already start changing pressure because that's what's going to get the speed back. Yeah, watch them on TV. When they slow them down really slow, you'll see that. You'll see that. Even though the club still looks like it's still going here, you'll see that pressure. Yeah, that's why these Lydia Ko can hit it a long ways, very long ways. So that's, any questions so far? So the legs are a process, no question. You do use the legs, but you have to use them efficiently. Okay. Also, distance comes from the 2 other areas. You gotta hit it there. Yeah, you gotta hit it in the face. Okay, and the angle of attack is, that's why I've got this flight scope. We don't have this. Does this work? Well, you got it going. Can I show you something real quick?
Oh, it's on here. I had to use this because I wasn't able to get it.
Okay, watch this. Everybody should know this guy. The kids do. Watch this. This is so. I don't know if everybody's seen this. It's gonna be Fred Astaire, heard it. This is filmed at the LA Country Club in 1932. He's a 2 handicap. He was. Looks really tight there, doesn't it? Arms are tight, left arm straight.
Do that first thing you saw. So I want to do first is show people that because you can see how relaxed he is. Did you see his arms and how fluid those arms looked? Of course, who can move the feet like no one can. My point is, that, I mean, the thing I really want people to look at is what he's doing there. How freely that club is actually swinging. You know, so it's just keeping those hands and arms as wide as you can with a little bit of a transition from your back foot to your left foot will create more speed. And it's not about doing 400-pound deadlifts over there, right? But it's about these guys training the right muscles to use. You know? And like I said, these people, they see people who work out all the time incorrectly, like I watch people swinging golf club incorrectly. And if you get together with these trainers, they're going to make you stronger, faster, and then you come see me for getting the golf ball. So let's talk about some of the common things that I see as an instructor physically, that when I'm doing an assessment on someone, so someone shows up and says, you know, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to interview them, you know, how long you've been playing, how much golf do you play other sports, any physical elements that you have in your body, hips, shoulders. I'll do that before you watch you hit a ball. And then, so after watching a few swings, here are two of the most common things I see in golf. So how important is posture?
Very, for everything.
For everything. So when I see people who come to the range, head down, they're like this. We call this a C posture. Okay, they're hunched over. Okay, so the body is designed this way. Your neck is a stabilizer. Your thoracic spine is mobility. Your lumbar spine is a stabilizer. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Because you know more about this thing. Okay, hips are mobile, legs are stabilizers, and then so basically from here, stabilizers, mobility, stabilizer, mobility, stabilizer. So the human body is not designed to swing a golf club because your spine works in two ways. Your lumbar works this way, which is this effect. And your thoracic spine, which is your rib cage, works this way. So it turns. But if we, and these guys will obviously agree with this, if you're hunched over like this, your spine isn't lined up. Your vertebrae are being crushed. So what we need to do is we have to get you to a tall spine. Not locked, but tall. More importantly, the common thing that I see in teaching and with students is that their pelvis is tucked underneath. Okay? Well, that's going to affect your lumbar spine, would you, right?
Yep.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because you know more about the body than I do. But from here, again, if we can get the pelvis lined up, we can get your thoracic spine and your lumbar spine lined up and your neck lined up, it's going to be a lot easier for you to turn. Now, we're not asking for the big Rory McIlroy turn here, but you need to get into a good posture. Where do we practice posture? Anybody tell me, what's the best place to work on posture? In front of a mirror. No, in front of a mirror. So what we want to do here is, like, when I put people on video, okay, so what we want to do is we want to make sure that your spine is tall, right? So what I'll have my students do if they can, I'll just have them kind of sit like this and just bend from the hips forward, the pelvis, and then I'll let their arms hang down. So this is number one. This is the most common mistake that I see with, and I'm talking myself too. I took a lesson 3 weeks ago. My teacher goes, "What's this?" I don't know. Not even where yours. I just wanted to know where it's doing. But my point is that you want to make sure that your spine is tall, your pelvis is tilted up and out, not underneath, and that's going to give you more room to make some sort of a turn. Excuse my voice, sorry. Second thing is, because your legs are a stabilizer, okay, what needs to happen is if I put my arms across, and this is the next thing I'll do with a student. If I'm in this position, right, if I put my student, first I'll have them stand straight up. If they can turn this way, they can turn from here. So I'll have them first do this and just have them turn. As they're doing that, I'm going to ask them, where's the weight going? Well, they'll say, what's going towards my right hip? Is that something we just talked about? So it works towards the right hip. So it says if they're able to do this, then I know that they can turn a little bit, okay? And then from here, I'll have them bend from the hips forward, and then I'll have them turn, okay? All right, so if they can't turn, this is the common mistake that we see. Hip flexors are tight, glutes are tight, hamstrings are tight. More of those, I don't know all the muscles in there, but all these muscles are tight. So that's what you call Bradley, you call it Andrew. Well, thanks. Well, this is special. What is this? This is fancy. Is this like cool? How do you open it? So we're going to do this exercise. We're all going to do this together in a second. So what I want to do is, so then from that position, so like I said, if anything's tight in this area, internally or externally, they're not going to be able to turn properly. So that's the next assessment. When I see someone who's struggling with a sway, or they're coming off the ball, okay, then I'll say, okay, well, this is all I can do from here. Go see Bradley or Andrew. They're going to fix you. I'm not going to do it. I don't fix people with the body. I just fix the swing, right? So from here, I say, all right, now if you're able to do this, this is good. So then from here, I say, okay, now can we rotate and finished over here? A lot of people struggle with that. First, they don't know the sequencing of it, but so they go here and then they go here. Well, again, this is all tight. They can't externally turn this way because these are
IT band.
yeah. Yeah, quads and glutes and stuff. That's all tight, right? This is very tight. That's when you get them on the roller.
Yep.
They start screaming.
Yep.
You ever get on one of those rollers? You scream. This is okay. But my point is, so if they're not able to do this, and I have to say, okay, well, until you go see Bradley or Andrew, then all I can really teach you is to do more of this to create more speed. Now, you had hip surgery, left hip.
Yes.
Okay. So with the left hip, there's a lot of movement around that hip joint.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, I put a nice titanium rod over there.
Yeah.
And I think I have more flexibility.
See, yeah, there's a lot of people I've talked to that have had hip surgery.
Yeah.
They're actually more flexible now than they were before.
It is.
Because nothing hurts.
Yeah,
Right?
Right.
Right.
So
So,
golf club right
yeah. Did you have them turn the foot out a little bit so it's a lot easier to turn? All right. So that's my point. So then the next test I'll have to do is I'll actually have them stand there like that, look right at me, and say, okay, can you turn this way? A lot of people do this. Okay? I go, well, what was that? I go, well, this is as far as I can go. Well, go see Andrew, go see Bradley. Because you can't move. This has got to stay here to at least 45 degrees. So go either way. Here. You can't do this, and you're going to struggle to sway. And then the most important thing that we see is what we call it early extension, which is meaning someone saying, keep your head down. If anybody ever tells you to keep your head down, don't listen to them. Seriously, watching the ball helps, but don't keep your head. That's the worst thing you can do is keep your head down. Because what happens also, now you're this way, right? So what happens in the swing, again, if these muscles are tight, we're going to call what we call early, especially, it's called what are these?
IT bands.
IT. If these are tight, as you try to turn through, what's going to happen? All your weight's going to go towards your toes. And what's going to happen? What's happening to my spine here? Spine's coming in, so I can't move. So my point is that when I get to here, well, it doesn't matter what I tell you to do. If you can't have some sort of rotation going through, you're going to come up and out of the shot, not looking up. Okay, not keeping your head down. I don't care what I tell you to do. I'm keeping my head down, but what's coming up? Spine. So that's why we have to get you stretched out to be able to go over here. Okay, not that we don't want the big, Roy McIlroy finish or Lexi Thomas finish, but we're just creating a little bit more room for you to move. And for the second thing, the reason why that's so important is because, has anybody ever heard of a chicken wing? Yeah. Okay? Not the ones we eat, but my point, the chicken wing is, excuse my voice, I'm sorry. So chicken wing is this. This occurs during impact. Well, the only reason why this happens is because this didn't get out of the way. So when you see golfers come in, I see it all the time. I'll say, you just got to go here. You got to get this guy's got to be going that way through the swing in order to keep those arms extended somewhat. Okay. But if we're doing this, these are tight. This is tight. This is tight. So in order to create more room, we have to create more rotation, which allows those arms to extend. Okay? How are we doing time? Good. We good? Any questions so far? Is this making any sense?
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately.
No, I'm not here to rebuild you, but I'm just here to.
I just hope I can hit the ball off the tee after this.
Well, I'm not here to. Like I said, my job is just to give you some of the things that we see as instructors, and there's a lot of good instructors in the area. But some things that we have to be careful about, like watching YouTube and things like that. Let me see if I got any of those.
Now we're gonna do some fun things, and we'll have the experts over here help us. Shoulders. What type of exercises do you do for shoulders for stretching?
For stretching.
Can you show us one?
On the wall.
On the one.
Against-
So, the one that we like to use, we get someone up against the wall, and I'll have them kind of like this, and I'll have them get their hand to this. Most people go by right here. Okay? So if your shoulders are tight, you should be able to do that. Okay? But if you're going like this, that's cheating. So this is one of the things I'll kind of show our students if I have time, is if you can just do this, then I know the shoulders are loose enough where they can make a swing. The problem with tight shoulders is that when someone tells you to keep your left arm straight, I don't care who you are, if you're trying to keep your left arm straight and you have tight shoulders, what's going to break down is this. See the left arm? That's going to break down. You're going to try to keep it straight, but as soon as your shoulders stop turning, you're going to break down. Okay? So that's why having loose shoulders will allow the left arm to stay extended, not locked, extended. But if this is tight right here, you're going to break down. Okay? Or what's going to compensate is the wrists are going to overhinge and you're going to lose control of the club. So having flexible shoulders, letting those arms swing up. Again, we're not trying to keep the left arm perfectly straight. It's going to allow this to stay a little bit more extended. But if this is tight, something's going to break down. The other exercise that we do, if I see players who take the club back and they go like this, you can't believe what I see every day. It's actually entertaining. Okay, but when the club goes up, you see them do that. Or they go this way. They go this way. Well, the reason behind that is because they have no mobility in their arms. So I'll have them just stand up like this, go like this, and they go right here. I don't care what I tell them. I'll say, go see Bradley, go see Andrew. Because if you can't go to here, as soon as you take that club back, you're going to reverse, we call this reverse pivot. You're going to get the club, what we call crossing the line, and you're in trouble. So you have to have plenty of mobility in this area right here. Okay? If you say if you had shoulder surgery and things like that, then we say, okay, then I can try to get you to turn just a little bit more, but you got to have the mobility down here as well. So these are just things that, as instructors and trainers, that we look at. If you don't have these motions, we're not trying to hit the ball 300 yards, but you're going to have difficulty, creating that. There's no such thing as the perfect swing either, but creating a swing that's repetitive. My job is to have a student who just swings the club repetitively the same way. I'm not trying to make you look like Adam Scott or Julie Inkster or whoever it may be. Is that we're trying to create a swing that's repetitive. But if your body's not being able to do these things that we're trying to get you to do, then that's when we say, okay, go see these guys. They're the experts. They'll get you in that area, and then we go from there.
Hey John, so before you take out your line, do you do the full assessment to make sure, find out what the limitations are?
I will sit to a point.
Yeah.
If first thing to do is I'll watch them kind of hit a few shots, and I'll know right away. I'll know right away. But that's why I'll during the interview I'll say, do you have any limitations on shoulders? Have you had hip surgery? He swings better now with hip surgery. I'll ask him questions about that because I had a young lady. She was probably like 22 several years ago, and she's a good athlete, strong. She got up there and she just went, whoa, what's that about? I mean, she looks very flexible, very strong. And then she tried to go more. Whoa, okay, what's that about? So then I asked her, this is where it was an eye-opening for me. It's like, okay, why can't we go here? She says, I have 2 metal rods going down my back. Oh, my mistake, big mistake. I could have very easily hurt her. I said, okay, I need to know more about what's going on here. Okay, so those are things that if I see someone swing with some elements, I'll think, okay, or if they've already told me about it, I'll have an eye. Then I'll do some of those assessments. When we do 12-step assessments in a big clinic type situation sometimes, but it takes about 20 minutes to do it. So they want to just hit the ball. So in my field, and that's what these guys, they're the experts in that field. They're going to find out, like I was watching Bradley this morning. Is that was your first client, first day? Or first day?
That was her evaluation.
Her evaluation. So he went through all, I was watching this, it was really cool to watch. So I mean, that's what they're the experts in that field. And then we kind of coordinate with each other. I'll say, hey, Bradley, how's Jim doing? You know, how's so-and-so doing? Are they getting more flexible? Is there something I need to know on my end? You know, that's how we kind of work together, just as a team. So the best players in the world have a team. They have a trainer, they have a nutritionist, they have a swing coach, they have an agent, and more importantly, they have a shrink. Okay, all these great players. And there's no reason why we can't have the trainer and the nutrition part and the swing coach. Everybody here can have that, you know. But that's just something that's how you get better. Any questions? No questions. Okay, everybody stand up. It's time to do this. If you don't mind doing this, since we got plenty of room here. I don't need unless you want me. Can we put that up there and the flights go?
I wasn't able to.
Okay, it's okay. Then they won't be able to see what we present. Let's do this.
Not on the
Can everybody just do this for me? Okay, so you guys want to watch this? See, I want you to tell me who's tight, who's not tight.
I already know.
Oh, okay. That's right. Oh, that's right.
I'll do that.
Just simply, I'm going to see how well you're doing. Okay, all right, so we're going to go just like this. Now, just look right at it. So what you're going to do is just look right at that wall. All you're going to do is just turn to your right. Just turn. But you got to stay looking that way. Eyes at the wall. So did everybody kind of feel the weight move back in that right heel a little bit? Okay, you did.
Well, I all these three muscles cracking in the neck.
I just heard that. I heard that go. So if we do this, right? So now from here, all I want you to do is we're just going to turn your hips, and we're going to rotate, and then we're going to pivot over the toe like that. So look at, see, she's got no bad. Look how good she is. She's got no bad habits. Oh, that was really good. Okay, do it again. All right, so sit it like that. All right, and just turn. All right, now let's create in your golf. Let's get in your golf posture. So everybody, look at their spines, Bradley. Got them? Okay, so from that position, looking at the ground, I just want you to make that same rotation. Okay, and you should feel that's really good. You should feel the weight back in here. Feel it back. That's good. Very good. Okay, do it again. Say a little more stand though. A little wider stance. Okay, now do it again. Just turn and go. Okay. Good. Okay, so you're a little bit limited there, right? That's fine. Okay, good. And then go through it. Pivot all the way through. Yeah. Now notice when you did that, did the shoulders go first? Okay? Don't do that. Do that again. Now this time you're going to feel just a little bit of change of pressure back to your left foot. So you'll feel a little bit, we call that a little bit of a bump. And then you're just going to turn. Like your shoulders fall back. You just threw a ball. That's what you did. Okay? Do it again. Go back, turn, now unwind the lower body and go. Feel that? Good. Did you feel that? That's really good. Did you feel the shoulders follow the lower body?
Yeah.
That's the sequence of the golf swing.
You know, you feel how you get wrong, but all the time they'll be the exact opposite. Where the shoulder.
Well, that's what I was just doing with Andy.
Moving around, right?
Okay, that was really good. So if you're able to do this, you see, it's like if you're going here and you're able to stand, the other thing I look at when you're doing this exercise, are you able to stay in posture? Are you early extending? If you're early extending, go see these guys. Because there's nothing I can tell you to stay down if you can't rotate just a little bit around this left side. There's nothing I physically can tell you to do, or mechanically as a golf swing. I can say, well, your hips are done, so we just got to hit golf balls like this the rest of your life. Right? So which is a bad thing, really. Okay, but my point is that you're going to go here, and then and we don't want the big Michelle we finish. We don't want that. Just if you could pivot just a little bit more, so when you finish, do this one more time. Really think, this is really important. When you go back like this, if you feel your toes doing this at all,
Is she down?
well, no, you're going towards your toes. Look out. You won't be able to pivot.
Okay.
So what happens is your weight is 50-50. You're going to pivot into the right heel. Then you feel a little bit of pressure on the left side. And then you're going to pivot around the left heel. So the left toes, that's very good. Okay. Okay, back, and then rotate through. So you should never feel your weight come towards me. If you do, that's just a dead giveaway that your body did what? Shoulders went first. Or you're just too tight. So that's the importance about, this is why I'm here today, is to see, okay, what can you do, those are the experts over there. But that's a really good exercise. If you're not able to maintain posture, so if you're going like this right away, we got issues. Something's tight, something's preventing you from staying in posture. Not that,
we want the big turn. But if you're going from here to here, something's tight, and they're the experts. They say, well, this is why you're coming out of postures, because something's tight in here or back in here. So it could be the shoulders, it could be the hips, it could be, and that's how they do their assessments. So that, okay? So consistency comes from what? Sequencing.
Practice.
Well, sequencing, proper sequencing. Anything we have to add? Any questions?
No.
Is that it? Does anybody want me to hit a shot, or you guys want to try a shot? And what would you like to do? This is, I think what time is that? What time is it?
10 o'clock, still got it out.
Oh, so you guys an hour and kill? So what do you guys want to do? You guys want to go to the gym? You want to try something? Okay, everybody come on, let's come in close and watch this. It's pretty fun. So, he's going to be our guinea pig. So you play.
So that's how I hold it, but you've already told me I'm holding it wrong.
I can't
Okay.
see that.
It's actually really good right there.
Yeah, well, but that's not how I usually hold it. I learned it about an hour ago.
Okay, that's actually really good. So take your breath. Now, if you could just. Yeah, take your breath. Hang on. Now, from right there, just. All I'd like you to do.
Yeah.
All I'd like you to do is this. You can stand there without hitting yourself. Just go like that. Without the club coming out of your hands. So that's good.
Keep your arms straight.
That's right. Okay, but you feel that right there?
Yeah.
So that's a key level to speed and direction.
So that's good.
Very good, yeah. We just don't want to see pulsating veins and things like that. So this thumb will be actually a little bit more here. All right, now go ahead and put your feet fairly close together. A little closer. Okay, bend from the hips forward. Now what I want you to
So my feet are closer than normally.
no, we're not making full shots.
Oh, okay.
So relax your arms. Keep your arms light.
Yeah.
Let the club do this. Let it hinge. Okay, that's you tight.
Yeah.
Okay, shoulders up.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I do have a right shoulder issue.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah.
Can't help you. Your arms are light. Okay, like that. So you can see how his left arm is kind of breaking down. Just like everybody see that? You can he's not that dangerous. But you can see that's about the extent of his left arm. No, don't do that. That's fine.
Okay.
The more important, so you should be able to just let him. So he's got. Have you worked on his shoulder?
I'm not his coach, but I'll make
Yeah.
sure.
Make sure. so give me.
No, I've been working on my right shoulder. It's actually better.
Okay, let go. Stick your arm.
Yeah, right there. Right there.
So there's
About
not-
10 o'clock.
So would I tell him to go way back here?
Yeah.
No. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got take it.
The left shoulder's great, if I was looking at
The surgeon should have turned that toe up for you.
it. She actually made sure it was straight.
Okay, relax the arms. Okay. Feel that? Then from here, now from that position, we're just gonna let the club, we're gonna feel the weight of the club. Swing through, one more time. It's Saturday. Here we go. Yeah, relax your arms. Okay. Back, relax your arms. You gotta relax your arms.
Okay.
Feel that? Okay. You gotta be able to feel the weight of the club. Mr. Flake used to say, he used to call this an instrument. He said, you know, if you can't feel the weight of the club doing this, you're gonna start to play golf.
Yeah.
You're tight. So just like, there's no weight shift, just feel the club strength. Just feel that, feel that? Let it swing. That's how light it should feel. If you want light, absolutely. That's how light it
I
should feel.
can't feel it.
If you can't feel it, you're in trouble.
Yeah, no, I can't.
You feel that? That says it's not loose, it's not coming out of your hands, is it?
No.
So if you can hold on to this club just tight enough, where you can feel the weight of the club doing this, you're in business. Okay, want to hit the ball like that?
God, after all that, I'm afraid.
Actually, let me get a different team. Let's cut that one too low. All I want you to do is just feel it. No weight, there's no weight shift here. All I want you to feel. All I want you to do.
No weight shift?
That's all I want you to do. Yeah.
No weight shift?
No weight shift.
That's kind of weird.
Well, just really feel a little close together. A little more, a little more. Okay, just do what you just did. Really easy with your arms. Let it just hit. Yeah. And you just picked up 10 yards.
I did. It feels weird, no weight shift.
Well, we're not talking about that right now. We're just giving you a little, look at that lower body, that new hip going. Oh, is it working? Oh, you got okay. Hold on to that. Hold on. That's cool. That's cool. How much speed do you use? You just hit as far as the right there. If I go back to Wi-Fi, that's not.
No, you should be fine. You're already on the net.
Okay. Try it again. Okay, hold on. Alright, so we're gonna. Okay, just with your, okay, can everybody see the screen? I want you to look at the second one from the left of the ball. It says ball. That's the speed of the ball. That's what we do more for our students in Navy. We really don't talk about club head speed. Yes, club head speed produces more distance. Ball speed is number one. Example would be, as I play with these college kids all the time, their club head speed is about 116, 18 miles an hour. Mine's 102. Sometimes I hit the ball farther than they do because the ball speed, because of contact. That's why contact is so important for distance. I can't emphasize that enough. Contact is so important for distance. All right. So then you'll see ball. That's ball speed, and then down to the second row on the left. That's his club head speed. Now he's just going to hit one. See how fast the ball goes with his feet together. Just do that same drill. Club head speed is the second one down on the left.
No weight.
6.6. Yeah, just we're not looking at the L. Just see 6.6. Oh no, I'm sorry. I take it back. I'm sorry. 1 second.
The
It's 60, I'm sorry, the far right, the second row, I'm sorry. 68.8, the second row, the far right. That's club head speed. So we want to look at that number and that one ball speed. Okay, right on the ball. Yeah, those are the two things that we
So
look at.
no weight transfer, just arms.
Nope, just do that. That's his arms. That's 70, the ball speed is 75 miles an hour, coach speed is 55 miles an hour. Is it carry?
Just and harder.
Gosh, yeah, that's just with your hands and your arms, right?
Yeah. Same thing.
Relax his arms. You should hit 1,000 golf balls like that, so now it's going up. So you went from 55 to 58.
Yeah, actually it's a little harder.
Okay, but the number go up? That's just using his hands and his arms. If I put his legs in there, that number may go down.
Maybe what?
May go down, because you're not used to it. Do one more.
Bet you $10 it doesn't.
No.
That's off, I got it.
That's awesome. You don't swing really hard. But look, you know the fun part is you sit at far bottom right. What's it say? Straight. Straight. Okay.
Yeah, I usually have pretty good luck with straight shots.
You should get on the driving range and hit 1,000 balls like that.
What's that?
Because if you hit 1,000 balls like that,
Just without the weight.
absolutely, just to get your arms to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Those are the first two left. Do I use your legs now? This is the fun part.
I know that the emergency room sort of.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Their ambulance is in the back.
It's in the back.
Ready to go.
So they go, yeah. Just relax his arms. That's pretty good. Okay, ball speed went up, which is good. Club head speed was almost 10 miles an hour faster. Why would you want to hit a golf ball any harder than that? You don't need to.
Yeah. And that was like 5 times as much work. That's just.
That was more work or less work?
With the whole body, I mean,
Well, you didn't work that hard. You didn't need to. That's
Yeah.
the whole point. This is really, really good.
let me try one more.
Okay, let me get that ball. See the little dots?
Yeah.
Dots that come to
Oh, I see.
Will those dots stay with your equipment on?
Yeah. One is, it won't pull up the distance. I can try. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull up the distance.
The distance is up in the top left.
Well, carry distance. That is there. I'm sorry. So you've had 124 yards of your feet.
Yeah.
Or actually, let me go back. Hold on. If we went back. So 131, that was me. You did 4 shots. So your first one was your feet together 91 yards. That's your carry distance. Then you went from there to 87 feet together. Then you went 124. So you can see how he's going to use a little bit of that. See the ball flag is? See it says draw? Lower right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's what you want. Is anybody here trying to hit the ball straight? It's impossible.
Yeah.
But if you have a little bit of curve on it, does that make sense? Tom?
Yeah.
I think for you, I'm going to just break it down with him. I just loosen up his arms. I'm serious.
Yeah. Should we try somebody else? I missed it.
It's called smash. Smash.
What's that?
See, it says smash. That tells me how solid you
Yeah, I missed it. I felt.
What's the next one?
get. How solid he hits it. So the higher the number, the better.
What's that do?
So it's smashing it down. See? So that was
Worn
the
out.
other part of that contact and how solid you get it. So if you look at, let's go back and look at those numbers real quick. So here, those are mine. So then 91, so you see the smash is 130?
Yeah.
Okay, so if then we get one on 131, see that number go up? All these numbers, that's how solid you get that, and the next one's even better. Smash for 135.
Yeah.
So you see that smash factor there? That's
Yeah.
telling you how solid you get the golf ball.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers increase.
Yeah.
So that's the second.
What's a really good number for smash?
Well, it's usually 2 to 1, so,
2 to 1.
well, basically with the driver, it's 1 point, they call it 1 point, but with the driver, if you club it to 100 miles an hour, your ball speed should be 150.
Okay.
So mine was a little bit lower than that. So you can see that in the last one you hit, you didn't hit it too solid, and see the numbers just go
Yeah,
down.
I could feel the difference.
So that's important too, that's the other thing, is that the angle of attack is so important, that if you're holding on real tight, and tightening these muscles up, I don't care how hard you swing, those numbers are gonna go down because you missed it. See how you flip it? Can't really flip it. But
Yeah.
those numbers are, that's the things that I do with these players, so that they want more speed, I'll put them on this thing. You know, a lot of times we use this for any level, but mainly the good players, they want to hear numbers. Let's get that whole thing. But I won't tell the students what's going on. It's like, that's better, I don't know the numbers.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
show. It's
Yeah.
bad, I'll show.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to try it? Try it, yeah. Okay. Good job. It's kind of a fun thing to do.
The shoulders was tight for 2 years.
The rope is tight, just right through here, makes it work.
Okay.
Never been a lot of floors. The weirdest thing happened about 2 weeks ago. I mentioned it to you. When I got my second booster shot, it was
So let's take a couple practice swings. So just with your arms. Just let your arms swing. Don't force it. Just let it swing. Feel that?
Yeah.
Does it feel good?
Yeah.
Is that right? Show you that, Greg? No. Good.
I just changed it after you told me to.
Is that right?
do that. So I just tell you,
Again, we're not really using our weight right now. We're just using this right here. A little narrower would be okay, because again, we're really not trying to use weight shift as much. We're just using those arms just to swing back and forth.
Pull it up right there. It felt so better. Just you pull it up for a minute.
Okay, so your ball speed was 55.
I felt better just then.
Keep those arms lighter. That's hard. A little bit lighter. It's scary. ball speed was fast, 55 again, smash was dead. So you can see there's, I mean, your ball speed is like I said, 53. Did you get that very soft? Yeah. It is. It is. And that's why we have, that's the number I'm looking at. Solid. That's the number. Okay, perfect. So you can let those hands here. You can let those hands get up. Way too tight. Way too tight. Way too tight. Way too tight. Good for you. Good for you. Okay. Speed's there. If you spot that speed's there, it's up. You have to get the contact, right? That's going to be the big thing to get the contact.
Let's smash the contact. Four.
Then listen, I didn't go through that way. Is there four? Is there any glass around here? Just don't say that. I'll figure out. Actually, oops. Would that go? Did it go left? Speed again, Jim. Let your arms drop this way. Closer. So we just got, you gotta loosen the arm. That's gonna be key. Take your time. A little more around. See, right now it's not going this way. That's big time. Make your hands with your take your grip. Go back to center. Let it set. A little lighter. A little lighter. Get that teeth. Just let that go so we can let it see. Now this time, go down. So when you go through, just let your whole right side go. Let that get yes. Make sure you get that to let that right side go. I'm just good. Watch that grip. Good job, Coach. Yeah. Huh?
So you'll be here, not here, here.
There's work to be done. There's always work to be done. Saturday. They're gonna torture me next week. Thanks, I gotta get out. Appreciate it.
Okay, you should go to the see you soon. Relax.
This Saturday.
God, it's beautiful out. Saturday. It's so tight. You live in Live in Aptons. That's drums. Nice. Here we go.
What is it? No, the body's on.
Feet together. Just hit that seat a couple times. It's not a distance drill. It's more of just getting us listening. This is such a good exercise. Higher. See what these cells are going to go up? Well, that's because your body's not moving right now.
Got it, okay.
Your body's just now, it's pretty your body. So we can have that.
Take care. I'm gonna see this guy. Listen, Dad.
You gotta relax.
Now you know relax.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you, nice meeting you.
See you.
Say it on the mic for me, will you? Okay. Draws.
You're on number 1 tee, seascape.
That's the 10, this is the old 10 hole, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole goes like that?
Yeah. There's houses over there too, careful.
Where? On the right?
Yeah. It's the old number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just hit that lady that
I
died.
did. I just saw you. Oh, it does, yeah, it does. I told you. Man wasn't watching it, it was doing something.
Okay, no move. Where's your weight?
Yeah.
On your left toe.
Yes, man.
Okay. So what happens there? I don't know if you use the word, but it's called a hosel rocket,
Yeah,
which is a shank.
yeah, right.
So if you look at your swing path, see it says the second one down, below it says 3-point right.
Yeah,
That means, that's actually not a bad number at all.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead and set it. That means that because this guy didn't get out of the way, your arms have, hang on to it, your arms have nowhere to go but to go out. This is a good place to miss. Okay, so if it's going in that direction, the club's moving away from you, where are we gonna make contact with the ball? Back in here.
Yeah. This is that.
Tight hips.
Super.
Yeah, tell Sean that.
Okay, so I want you to make a practice one. See if you can finish around your right heel, or your left heel, sorry. No, you still grab him with your toes, you feel it?
Yeah, I do.
His trainer's Sean. Let's talk to Sean.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to Sean.
Okay? Because there's nothing I can tell you from a swing mechanical wise to help you unless that move.
So the
Why
problem
why
is,
should I get it off the top?
the problem is I'm not coming around enough with it.
Yes.
So the tightness here, I can.
Last thing I did.
Yeah, that's what,
Yeah. But, you know, I'm just like,
Yes.
you know the 22 young guys?
yes.
Have you ever seen a video of his toes and impact? They're like this. Literally, his feet are this, I can't do it.
Really?
He's like this at impact. Well, where's my weight? It's not on my toes, obviously.
Okay.
So now, what's up? Lift that toe up. And now this way. Well, you're so tight. That's
Yeah. Big nose.
Talk to Sean.
So Sean, I'll tell him Sean.
Ladies.
You want ladies something else?
Yeah.
Please. No, here's a clip for it. No letters.
Okay. Yeah, it's so
Good, this is fun. You're not worried about numbers. No.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure that your arms are working.
Well, that wasn't what I was.
It looks great. It does. Just make it slam. Let me see what you do. A little longer, just so you're not going further. You're more flexible than the previous student. If you're going to be flexible. Yeah. When they do an assessment on you, that's when they let you know what's really cool. Feel that? Yeah, that's really good. Fast too. It's
Yeah, I'm surprised. Sean and I really, we pushed it on my
So
first
little
one.
club drop and hit that tee. That's tee.
Probably not enough in the hips.
Just let the weight go
Maybe,
back.
or maybe too much in the
Let it just drop it.
line rotation and not.
Get a little, get a little extra too. Right there. Good. Posture. See that posture, everybody? It's pretty good. Okay. Let it see. Let it see. Let it see. Let the weight magic word. Okay. Great. So what you're doing there is once we got, you're feeling that club go up, and you're really feeling the weight of the club. Just gonna let gravity just do the work. That's the killer of all. Everybody wants the best part is in the world. Don't push the club. Okay, you transition. Okay. There. That was great. Look at that. She can move. She
Yeah.
Just got a little kick to the. This is good. Okay. How's that feel? That looks really. It's just about 6,000 more. You'll get it. You think I'm kidding? Want to try one? Sure. So that grip looks cool.
It comes 100,000. Look at that.
Wow. You're a snap.
Dang,
Are
girl.
you kidding me?
You should retire now.
Stop.
Yeah,
Just absolutely
Stop
stop.
your head.
Best numbers in the morning.
Wow, nice job.
Beginner's luck.
No. I'll be back. I like
That, so you say you're a beginner?
Yeah.
Well, I played 30 years ago, I took lessons at Westside College.
Okay.
And then maybe I played twice a year since.
I'm
So
certain.
then kids and.
Yeah, all that fun stuff, yeah.
So I just started, I just retired.
Good for you. So you better start playing because it's 16. You gotta, let's just look at such. Perfect.
See, some of them are not the best.
Well, the best part is this one, right? That's what people have to get in their heads is that. I like watching golf on TV. They get in the water and someone's back there. That looks really good. Club the club is dropping in. Okay. So you did a little bit. You can push it. So we know it's there. Okay, make a practice when you hit the mat. But don't push it. When you get to here, just let it hit the mat. Well, so you push it. Feel the weight of that club. Just feel the system. Feel it drop. Now take it back across the same thing. Good. Take it back a little longer backswing, do the same thing. Perfect. Get it. Take your grip. Get that grip. Hold on. I don't want to see any pulsating veins. Good. Closer.
Yeah.
You need to play golf.
That's the plan.
You're very good. Are you currently taking lessons?
No.
Very good. Very good. Anybody else?
I think he's finished.
Damn, you did there.
Pivot. Pivot.
So. Well, that's it.
Who's your coach?
Good. You need the other club, yes. You need the other club.
Man, now they have these big simulators. Simulators is the new thing. Yeah, put a simulator in here.
Yeah. Don, he needs the other club. That's the place.
There you go. So just with the feet together first, just do this little exercise. Not only, kind of like that. So as the club swings back, you'll feel just a little bit of a turn, and just kind of do that. There you go. Yeah, that's good. Feel the weight of it? You gotta feel this guy right here. You gotta feel the weight of that club. Okay, good. Just like that, don't swing any hard. Oops, hit the ball. Four.
Yeah, put your
No, I think that.
Oh, you're fine.
So what it did, that's it. Let me do something.
We could put a.
Ooh, yeah, give me a house. Perfect. That's even better. Posture's good. Bradley's doing good here. This is good. He can move.
He can move.
He can definitely move.
He has.
As long as a false negative. I'm not getting flexible. I'm not doing it like that.
Okay.
He's
He came out
been
now.
with me. He's been with me for 10 years.
So when you go through, just again, what you all have to remember is when you get to here, when she turns, let the club just drop and hit it. Don't force it because everybody wants to pull and shove. And that's what we talked about that pivot point. So when you shift away, that club just slingshots through. So like I said, don't try to pull it and push it through. That's the worst thing you can do. Arm too light. Okay. So hit that T a couple times. So that's when your friends will say, oh, you look up. No, you didn't. Let it drop in. This is something we do before around.
Exact. I think probably the club's just a little short.
Yeah, I think. All the way through. There we go. I want that. Did you feel that when you move around? Oh, yeah. That's gonna be a key thing because as that club drops, like I said, if you hit the brakes here, you're going this way. So again, just allowing this. Yeah, as that club drops in, this hip drop has gotta go, it's gotta get behind you. It's gotta go that way. Pivot! Just relax his arms. It's good. Back him through, just pivot around that left heel. Yeah. Club's too short. It is.
Yeah.
What, is that 9?
So he needs to, it's a 7, it's about an inch and a half too short for it. So it's good. Not that that's an excuse. So he's really got to punch over.
Yeah.
Do you have longer clubs, I hope?
I don't know.
You get a little closer, so. That's pretty good. Stay in posture. Such a good. You need a longer club. You don't know what your clubs are?
They're,
Do they have any, will they fit for you?
Standard length.
Huh?
I don't know if my phone, this one's longer.
That's just hit that T. I think get in just a little bit closer. And again, let your arms drop as that lower body's going. You gotta hit that T first. Don't push it down, just let the foot drop and hit it. Okay, still push it. Good, nice try. Feel that? So you're not coming down?
no, I haven't played since September.
It's time to start. Let's get your body in shape now. It's time to go.
Actually,
A little closer to it. That's good. That's perfect. That was nice. Yeah, he's about average. That was good though. National tournaments. Any level. Okay. You guys, okay, anybody else?
I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's pretty good. So, but I mean, your health, you're fine. So it's like, why would you? Yeah, I mean, you gotta be awesome. He's, I mean, this guy. Big time. Big time. Yeah, he's looking like from where? Kent. I took Kenny.
was good. I just,
Woody's good. Woody's fun. We call him Woody. No, I'm just kidding. I've done
he
it.
helped my you guys know.
It's good. You go play past the temple, you get real good.
Yeah.
Kenny's
I
awesome.
like the way you're teaching.
Yeah, it's just simple stuff. Okay, thanks. Nice seeing you.
Take care. Watch out.
Don't listen to your friends. You've never done this before.
No.
Good. All right, we'll see you next week. There's actually 3 grips we can show you. I'll show you.